Hey, so I did a thing. You want to guess what it was?
I'm gonna adjust this. I wanted to figure out what was going to be the safest way for me to address the hair situation. Either that be don't address it at all, or don't address it at all. But then I thought, I think it would be really fun if I actually talked about it, because there's a couple things to talk about with it. First of all, what the fuck? What is it? Why is my hair the way that it is? Actually, it's a really funny story. So I guess we're doing a story time then, huh? Well, it all started a couple weeks before Easter Sunday. I was actually talking to my friend Abby, and she was telling me how she really wanted to do like a little bit of a glow up and stuff like that. We were talking about plans for her birthday. She was going to get some birthday dresses and also going to cut her hair and to do her hair. And I was like, that's so cool. So she asked me, she was like, hey, could you help me in doing my hair? And I was like, absolutely, I would totally help you out. So she told me her plan was to go get her hair cut professionally at a professional place, you know, like a normal person does. But then she was gonna buy bleach off of Amazon to do the peekaboo like hair or whatever. I think that's what it's called. And that was gonna be great. I love it. She got it done. Like, we got it finished a couple of weeks ago on Easter Sunday, that is. And she looks great. She looks amazing, honestly. And I am so honestly really happy with my work. I've done people's hair before. I've bleached my friend's hair before. I dye my mom's hair a lot because she likes to retouch her hair so that, you know, the gray roots go away. So it's not like I'm new to doing people's hair from home, but at the same time, it's also I hadn't done peekaboo before, but now I have. So I have that on the belt, adding hairdresser to the resume. But as we were talking, because we were just like chatting, you know, like one does with their friend while they're bleaching their hair in a bathroom and you have nothing else to do because you can't leave the bathroom. And I was telling her about how I've never really done anything with my hair. I've always like kept it brown for so long. I was never really, like, not to say that I was never interested in it. When I was a kid, I had actually asked my mom if I can dye my hair blue, and she was like, yeah, of course. The ends of your hair though, literally, like, I had my hair down to like probably, I don't know, under boob area. So my hair was pretty long. And I'm like a kid from elementary school, so probably like 6th grade, I think. And she had dyed the ends of my hair like this nice like blue color. It was okay. It was just blue hair dye onto brown hair. It looked like the Kool-Aid dip hair. It didn't look great. And eventually my mom ended up having me cut my hair anyway. So it didn't last for very long. It was a very non-permanent compromise. My mom didn't want me to dye my hair, but I really wanted to dye my hair. So that was kind of like our weird compromise, which now looking back at it, probably wasn't really that big of a compromise, but I'll give my mom some slack. I was a 6th grader wanting to dye their entire head blue without knowing the consequences of dyeing your entire head blue. Also, not to mention somebody who had dark hair and was asking for this. If you don't know, you need to bleach your hair. You need to lighten your hair to get to that pastel blue color. And also, pastel blue would have washed me the fuck out. It would have not looked, it would not look good at all. And especially at the time, I was completely unkept. My eyebrows were that of Minecraft Steve. And, as a 6th grader, slowly starting to come into puberty and not knowing how to properly wash their face, you can see how this kind of blue hair combo is leaning to the really cringe perspective of the blue hair liberal in like the grossest way possible, especially for someone who was really resilient to taking a shower. You're a kid, you do dumb shit when you're a kid. Easter Sunday rolls around. That is when she has all of her like bleach and everything like that, the bleach, the toner, everything, and she you know, we're doing her hair, talking about it, and she was like, well, if you were to get your hair done, what would you get? And I was kind of conflicted. I was just, you know, I was like, well, there's this one style that I've been seeing around called ghost roots. Ghost roots are normally a lot lighter than this, but it's basically the idea that all of your roots are a lighter color than the rest of your hair. It's basically like the opposite of a shadow root. A lot of people, usually when they go blonde, they'll add a shadow root so that when their hair starts growing out, then it looks like, then it looks normal, because that was like part of the process, and it goes into this really nice ombre effect kind of thing. And so it grows out looking really good. Ghost roots is basically just the opposite of that, where it's like blonde roots, dark hair. We had just finished up our hair, it's looking great, and we noticed that there's a lot more bleach in the tub than we were going to use. Surprisingly, even though we were doing like a huge chunk of our hair, we still had so much bleach to have. And it was one of those like Arctic Fox kits, so it's not like you can just keep a portion away or something like that and only mix up the amount that you need. It's a kit. They are proportioned already to be used that way. We were thinking, well, what are we going to do with this bleach? I feel like Dora the Explorer, just, what are we going to do with this bleach? But yeah, we were sitting there, we didn't know what we were going to do with it. We had options, obviously. We did actually do my friend Hollis's hair, literally like one single strip in the back, but they have box dyed hair, so it came out really splotchy, even though we did a really good job of saturating it. But also, in defense of us, they have curly hair, so it's kind of hard when two people who have straight, like pin straight hair, doing a curly person's hair. It's kind of hard, you know, to navigate that when you're not very skilled. You're not very skilled in bleaching hair in the first place, but now you have to bleach someone's curly hair that's also been box dyed. Not the greatest combo. So it came out like kind of bad, but we think it's kind of funny. It's like a Bride of Frankenstein kind of moment, and I love it. I don't care what Hollis says. It looks good. I think it's fun. I think it's like fun to have like a little stripe. Basically, Abby asked me, did you want to do the ghost roots? Did you want to take that plunge? And as somebody who has recently come into being spontaneous, I said yes, without really thinking about it. I think it's so funny looking back at it now, because I don't think I really showed it too much, but I was pretty nervous about the situation because I have not really touched my hair since 6th grade. It feels like I haven't actually done anything to my hair in the entire 20 years of my existence. So, you know, it kind of feels like, it felt very foreign, very weird, very like uncomfy kind of thing, you know what I mean? So it was a very new feeling, having this opportunity to fucking do something as extreme as bleaching my hair. At first, it looked kind of bad. No offense to Abby. Abby was doing a fantastic job. She is an angel. She did the rest of my hair, and I love it now. So it's like, I'll give her grace because we ran out of bleach. What were we gonna do? This was not planned. This was not a planned decision. We got the top portion of it done.
So this is where we're standing now. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, obviously, but I mean, it's at a really good starting point. And isn't that what we want?
We were working with what we had. Eventually I did end up biting the bullet. We had just gotten out of our biology exam, Abby and I was like, I bought it. I got extra bleach and the toner. Because at the time, I was dancing around the idea of possibly just dyeing it red and then never touching it with bleach ever again. But I'm glad that I didn't, because if I did, obviously I wouldn't have the hair that I have now, and I love the hair that I have now, so womp womp. But eventually, I'm just sitting here with this like glonky. Glonky is definitely the word that I want to use. This glonky ass hair for a little while. It wasn't bad, don't get me wrong. It was just not finished, which is understandable because this wasn't planned. And then eventually when it actually came in, we continued to finish my hair. it was, again, another bathroom situation, sitting there just kind of like chilling. Me playing around with the settings on my watch. Just enjoying the time and the space between friends and stuff like that. And eventually we had gotten all of my roots covered with the bleach. So what are the results now? It's definitely not as icy as I was planning for it. But at the same time, for somebody who's doing this in their bathroom, it still turned out pretty good. I was like kind of hoping, not for a platinum, I don't want white, but I was really hoping for like as bright as we could possibly get it. And I feel like for people who were doing it in the bathroom by themselves with no salon experience whatsoever, we got it to a pretty light color. So I'm happy with it. We'll do a little hair tour. So it's basically like all the roots and stuff like that blended out to the dark bits of my hair on both sides. One side is a little longer than the other, which is totally fine. I've been told that it brightens my face a lot better, which is really nice because I was really expecting the yellow to wash out my face, but in reality I guess people really like it. I love it, which is all that really matters to me, and I definitely think that I might redo this again. That is obviously going to be a task for future me, but for where it's at, I love it. I did actually have like a little bit of an existentialism with it because I was like, I don't do anything with my hair, but at the time I was like, I still have this mentality. But my mentality is like, it's just hair. It will grow out, it'll fix itself, da da da. But as we were doing it, I realized like how hard-hitting it was with a lot of people who do cry over their hair. I was like, oh, I get it now. I get it. This is terrifying. You're changing so much about yourself. It's like that quote from Fleabag. This was something that my friend Olga had actually told me about. Was like, there's this whole quote about how hair is said to be nothing, but it is also everything. It's like the first impression, it's somebody's job, it's the first thing that people notice about you before they start talking, like stuff like that. It's like, it is, it's like important, but also not important at the same time. And so it's like, I just think it's funny that I was in such a singular mindset of like, it's fine, whatever, and then also having an existential crisis about how they're going to think that I'm insane, they're going to think I'm too quirky, like my romantic interests are going to go away, my friendships are going to be like, oh, people are going to be like, that girl's weird or intimidating, so I'm not going to make any new friends, like this whole weird thing. But in reality, it has brought out a confidence in me that has been really nice and has actually been the opposite of those problems. I think I've talked to way more people now than I have before because of my hair, because they'll be like, oh, cool hair, whatever. Or I noticed you because of your hair. I don't know, I love it, and I wanted to make it like a little story time because the story behind it is kind of funny. Something that is very new for me is being spontaneous, and I think I'm fitting in a lot better as somebody who is spontaneous instead of a planner. Not to say that she's gone, I'm still a type A personality, but I made this decision on Easter Sunday with no plans. No plans at all, other than the fact that I was going over to her friend's place to dye their hair. Ain't that just the way? Yeah, I hope you guys like it. If not, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but womp womp.